Thank you, Chris. That was beautiful.
Netflix will be up on the screen.
My reflection today is about gratitude,
No?
and I am grateful for music, like we just heard. I'm also grateful
Because
for
that's the
when I
Christmas
hear something
decoration
that
thing on there.
connects with me viscerally. There are tears, and the sides of my mouth go down, and I can't
Yeah, I
help
turned up the
but
volume
have
on your
that
computer, but it's
reaction
not playing.
every time I hear something.
You
I don't know about you, but
shouldn't zoom in on that.
I occasionally go into Facebook land and I will see these amazing and charming
On
videos
the
of a
screen.
parent or a caregiver with a very new child on the
Oh, there
piano
he is.
or on the guitar, and that person is playing
The
and
Reverend.
singing, and you can
We should be on
see
the screen.
that connection with that child. And I'm so grateful for that, for people who make music a part of their little ones' lives. I'm sure Pam can share with you the effect that music has
Oh,
on
it's the
us.
Reverend,
I'm
right?
grateful
No.
for spoken and
It says
written
Reverend
words
Alex Silva,
Doesn't
other
look
than
the same.
myself.
they, them.
Like a
Okay.
favorite columnist or
But,
someone else's eloquently woven words that transport me into their world,
So maybe
making me
you
aware
don't need
that
to be
none
on
of
the
us are
screen
that
in the
far
building.
apart or different from each other. I was so
But
moved by a
usually
couple of recent
he's up here
columnists that I actually sent thank you emails.
on that screen.
Instead of just taking that gift that he or she give us all the time, it's like, I need to let them know.
When he talks.
I'm grateful
Yeah,
for
here's
the
speaker.
health care
I don't
that
want
I
that.
am able to
He's
take
not going to
advantage
be
of,
there.
that I
He's
can
going to be up
always
here on the screen,
ask
and you
when I
went
go
away
in for a
from
checkup or something,
it. Was
to the
in the
question
picture.
that asks if I'm
Talking.
safe in my
Well,
own home.
you zoomed in on this thing
I
that
Maggie,
we've
recently,
never seen.
Maggie,
I
you
listen
need
to
to
a lot of
mute,
NPR
honey.
I
in
wanted the
my
whole
car radio,
picture
going to work
so
or
the
coming home,
screen was
and
in there, which is
earlier
where
this
Alex is
month,
going
or
to
I think it
be.
was like the 25th, there was an NPR
He's
episode
not going to be there.
Maggie, you need to
Only a
mute
sharing
couple of
the
your
views.
mic.
fact that
I
there's
Well,
a
can't hear the
you
nationwide
speaker.
shortage of
and you
clergy,
zoomed
and he
in on
cited several
her.
reasons.
This is
One
what we were
was
looking at.
clergy are aging. It's
That was what I
expensive
saw
to
when we
become
came
a
here.
licensed
No,
clergy
you changed it.
person, and that some rural congregations are considering lay-led services. And I'm grateful that we are already doing that. I'm also incredibly grateful for all of our the principles that we have that allow us to meet like this. I'm grateful for the art that's out in our world, either by the hand of people or what nature provides for us.
And it's
I'm
not on.
also grateful for knowledge willingly shared, sharing a recipe, gardening how to take care of our furry friends, and the spirit of generosity that is more powerful than my own self-perceived need or want, making passing forward a no-brainer. I have things that I don't need. For a long time, it was like, oh, I might need that, I might need it. 3 years goes by, and all it's done is collected dust, and it could have benefited someone else. So, what is it that you are grateful for?
Thank you for giving us a moment as we queue up Rev Alex again on our technological.
Can you hear me? Mm-hmm.
We can. All right. We'll now hear a message from Rev Alex.
Good morning. Good morning again. I'm the Reverend Alexandre da Silva Soto. If you're on a budget, Rev suffices, just REV, Rev. My pronouns are they, them, and theirs. I'm a brown exiled immigrant from Brazil. I am beyond middle-aged. I'm not counting on going beyond 104, so beyond middle age, I think. Um, and I'm in Philadelphia. And so glad for the technology that allows me to continue to journey with you all. I want to start with a deep gratitude to Susan for coordinating and being the worship associate and making it possible for me to be with you all, as well as Dave and everyone who's making this this blurring of time and space possible. And thank you so much, Pam and Chris, for the music you bless us with. I will now offer a quote from Melody Beattie.
Taking any sound.
Oh, Miss Maggie, I think your sound is on, if you don't mind muting so there's no cross sound there. Okay, here's the quote. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. So for those that read the newsletter, you probably already been thinking of the questions, and thank you, Susan, again for your reflection. Maybe I should have just stopped there because you hit all the notes. But here are some of the questions that I offered in preparation for this time together. What if my gratitude can reach beyond me,
I don't
myself,
know how to turn this off.
and I? What if my gratitude can reach beyond me, myself, and I? What kind of spiritual practices would that inspire? What kind of spiritual practices would that inspire? Where are the deep places of gratitude already in my life? So it's not a matter of what else do I need to do, but or where else do I need to look at, but a matter of what already is. So with these main questions, these three main questions, what are the thoughts that come to mind when you hear them? When you're asked what are you grateful for, what comes to mind? Take a moment, take a deep in breath, and the out breath, see what comes up. When the thought and the question is, am I grateful? What am I grateful for? I quote, I often think I'm good at gratitude. Say thank you to the goddess for divine right timing when I'm down at the sea and I look up at the sky at just the right moment to see that big brown pelican glide gracefully over me. Or take that first bite out of a fresh picked red apple. Let the juice roll around in my mouth and thank the tree for giving it to me. Me, me, me. Yes, my gratitude is all about me and all the gifts I joyfully receive. This quote is from Lilith Rogers. And he holds, in my view, the dichotomy or the paradox of gratitude inevitably being about me and what I get or what is given to me, but also could it be Could it be a little deeper? Or could it be otherwise? Could I experience gratitude even when it's not about getting what I need or what I want? In 1995, Peter Menzel and his wife Faith D'Aloisio published a book titled Material World, a Global Family Portrait. The Menzels and other photographers took portraits of 30 statistically average families with all of their worldly possessions displayed outside their home. And now I will share with you some of those images. If you bear with me for just a moment as technology allows. Can you see the images in the screen? So these are the belongings of a family in China. Here's another one, also in China, with a couple, young couple. Here's another couple with all they possess, also in China. Here's another one, family and all their belongings. Here's a family in Bhutan and all their belongings and their family in the background. Here's a family in Kuwait. Here's a family in Albania. Look at all those smiles. A family in Guatemala. Only the two little girls are smiling. But let me point this out that oftentimes in Latin America, people are not smiling in photographs because there's some taboos. There's some taboos about smiling in photographs. As a matter of fact, for documents, you're not allowed to smile. By the way, I was very surprised the first time I saw some documents here with people smiling. Here's a family in Mexico and all their belongings. A family in Cuba. A family in Brazil and all their belongings. A family in Thailand, including the chickens. A couple cows in the back there. Family in Samoa. In Mali. In Italy. Family in Mongolia. Family in Japan. Family in Iceland. India and all their belongings. Family in Texas. Family in California. Perhaps not too far from you. And another image of a young human there and their belongings. So once again, when the question is, what are you grateful for? Where does your mind go? What is the answer that comes up? I follow the Marginalian, a publication by Maria Popova. And here's a quote that was published by Peter Menzel, the main author of this photography series we just shared. This is what he offered in the interview as a background for that photo series. Freelancing in Somalia during their civil war and in Kuwait right after the first Bush war, I had some rather intense experiences that made life in the US seem rather shallow and superfluous. Sitting in my office early one morning listening to NPR, which is the way I like to start every day, I heard an amazing piece of the marketing of Madonna's autobiography called Sex. The book was a sensation in the US. The radio report ended with Madonna singing, I'm living a material world, I'm just a material girl, or something close. I thought it was spot on. We live in an idiotic, capitalist, self-indulgent society where the sex life of a pop star is more important than impending starvation, landmines, child soldiers in Africa, or more interesting than the world's biggest man-made natural disasters in oil fields of the Middle East. Peter Menzel. So let me say that uh, I was thinking maybe I shouldn't share anything about this photo essay and this quote in particular because it can come across a little sanctimonious, right? It come across as a little indicting or a major downer. Yet I think it is a good invitation, and I decided to share it anyway because it is a good invitation for us to examine our ways of thinking about gratitude and what we are grateful for. And also as a way to counter the constant message that you cannot possibly be grateful if you don't have the latest this, that, or the other. You can possibly be grateful if you don't have the last season of this, that, or the other. And just 2 weeks ago, watching a documentary that exposed the fast fashion industry. I'm not sure if you're familiar with fast fashion industry, but the fashion industry used to be 2 seasons a year, and now they are putting out new designs, new outfits, new trends every single month, which brings humanity to a place where there is enough clothes already in this planet for the next 6 generations. We could stop making clothes, period, today, and the next 6 generations would be clothed appropriately, warmly, and even fashionably. If we're not releasing a new fashion, a new trend every month. So Brené Brown argues that we are a nation hungry for more joy. We are a nation hungry for more joy because we are starving from a lack of gratitude. Because we are starving from a lack of gratitude. So, what do you think? Are we a nation starving from a lack of gratitude? Because nothing I offer, nothing I present is absolute truth. I offer to you because it somehow inspired me or intrigued me or challenged me, and I in turn offer it to you. So what do you think? Are we a nation starving from a lack of gratitude? How much gratitude are you experiencing these days? Edwin Arlington Robinson reminds us that there are two kinds of gratitude. The sudden kind we feel for what we take, the sudden kind we feel for what we take, the larger kind we feel for what we give, for what we give. So what if gratitude and our practice of gratitude is much more focused on what is it that I can offer to the world? What is it that I already have that I can offer? And in that offer, as many wise individuals in the past have proclaimed, that in that sharing, in that giving, it multiplies. Lionel Hampton proposes that gratitude is when memory is stored in the heart, not the mind. When gratitude is stored in the heart, not in the mind. So what if we let the heart respond instead of the mind when we are asked about what are you grateful for? So if I ask you right now, what are you grateful for? What if you were to listen to the heart first? To what bubbles up, what surfaces in your heart when the question is, am I grateful? What am I grateful for? What does the heart say about your gratitude? And trust you me, Unitarian Universalists are called to think, use your brain, so use your mind. I'm not saying turn off your mind. I'm inviting you into a practice of gratitude that may start in the heart center, in the heart chakra. The founder of Shinyo Buddhism, Shinjo Ito, said this, and I offer you. We all wish for a good life. We all wish for a good life. Some people think all they have to do is believe in a religion. Others think it's about the achievement of material wealth or social status. But I believe that a good life is one we can feel good about. A good life is one we can feel good about because of the way we're living it, because of the way that we are living it. So, what if gratitude is not about what we have, what we are even given, or even not about what we have to give, but gratitude is a way of living? You might have already caught this little book. I quoted Ross Gay. It's called The Book of Delights. It's a list of essays, short essays, that helps with one's practice of gratitude, one's practice of finding joy. So I highly recommend. Ross Gay is actually in the Bay Area. There's a project just down the street at UC Berkeley. So I invite you to keep studying and examining your own practice of gratitude and taking it to whatever depth you may get. So when the question is asked, what are you grateful for? We can use our brains and think of what we have and what we are grateful for having, and use our hearts for what we already have in our hearts and are able to give. And our spirit, our soul, transcendent, for those that believe in a transcendent way of experiencing gratitude. The neurologist Oliver Sacks said this: I have been a sentient being, a thinking animal on this beautiful planet. And that in itself has been an enormous privilege and adventure. I have been a sentient being, a thinking animal, sentient being, and a thinking animal on this beautiful planet. And that alone, that in itself has been an enormous privilege and adventure. And guess what, beloveds? Oliver Sacks wrote these words when he learned that he was dying. Not when he received accolades or, grants as a neurologist for greater research. He wrote these when he was dying. So how is that for gratitude? How is that for gratitude? I have had the enormous privilege to sit with people at the end of their human experience by many, many deathbeds, and those that I sensed traveled, transitioned, or died more peacefully were those that I knew for a fact, or I learned within that period of time that I got to spend with them, that they had a very, very deep practice of gratitude, of appreciating all that was already there. So, what if the deepest gratitude one can experience is a gratitude that is liberated, a gratitude that is liberated from the satisfactions of one's ego? So, what if our gratitude is decoupled from the happiness of our ego or the satisfaction of our ego? In closing, I was offered a quote from Mordecai Kaplan, the founder of the Jewish Reconstructionist movement. And I quote: Public worship aids us by liberating personality from the confining walls of the individual ego. Imprisoned in self, we easily fall prey to morbid broodings. Interference with career, personal disappointment, and disillusionment hurts to vanity. The fear of death, all these tend so to dominate our attention that our minds move in a fixed, narrow system of ideas, which detest, but from which we see no escape. With a whole wide world of boundless opportunities about us, we permit our minds, as it were, to pace up and down within the narrow cells of their ego prisons. But participating in public worship breaks through the prison of the ego and lets in the light and air of the world. Instead of living but one small and petty life, we now share the multitudinous life of our people. Against the wider horizons that now open to our ken, personal cares do not loom so large. Life becomes infinitely more meaningful and worthwhile when we become aware, through our participation in public worship, of a common life that transcends our individual selves. So, beloved, either you realized or not, you are practicing deep gratitude by the fact that you decided to show up this morning, by the fact that you decided to participate in the life of everyone that is gathering this morning. Right there in Chico, in that beautiful jewel box of a building you have, and our siblings right here on Zoom. Donita, Maggie, Sue, Jen, Zelda. In this practice of being a community and living together and joining in one another's life, we are going beyond the individual ego that tends to be very easily unhappy and dissatisfied and ungrateful. So I close with wisdom conveyed by Rebecca Parker. Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition and a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. None of us alone can save the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting. Together, there's another possibility waiting. I'm very grateful for you with my heart, my mind, my spirit, and all that I can muster. Thank you for sharing your community and your life with me. Blessed be.
I'm awake. That was beautiful. Our offering is one of the ways we take our ministry into the world. 25%